Is it Hump Day and St. Patty's Day?
Yes.
Roll out the barrels, roll
Roll out the barrels of beer.
That's not St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I don't know. That's because we live in this state. That's why. Yeah. Give me my pot of gold. Come here. I'm gonna eat you.
Oh gosh, it's polka on St. Patty's Day.
I was gonna say shiver me timbers, but that has nothing to do with leprechauns.
Are you drinking your green beer, mate?
Where are you from? I think that was Australian. I don't even know. Well, hey, welcome to Coffee Talk. My name is Coach Chuck.
I am Coach Roxanne, my friends. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah.
If you didn't guess it over the past, now I wish I knew this stat. It's got to be 50 some weeks, maybe 60.
What?
How long we've been doing this? If you don't
a
know
year is
by
52
now
weeks.
that we're both a little nutty.
It's 52 weeks is a year, so we're just gonna spend a little bit of time kind of looking back. So this is a really cool show. The reason I'm on here today and we're doing this together is this was the 1 year anniversary, essentially by a matter of 3 days. So on March 20th, well, two things happened last year. March 17th of 2020 was the very first day that our facility had closed, and we broadcasted the very first set of live workouts for our members in our living room, which was insane. We had no idea what to do.
Sweat dripping on
the carpet. Oh my goodness. I think we went live like 4 times that day.
Yes.
And then on March 20th, I think is what you were telling me, right? On 20th?
No, the 18th.
The 18th, the next day, that Wednesday.
Yes.
So the 18th, that Wednesday, which is again a year, was the very first official Coffee Talk.
Yes. Oh, crazy. So I think we might have had our days mixed up there a little bit. I think we said the 20th, but the 18th was when we had the first Coffee Talk, which was the Wednesday a year ago.
Yeah.
The Wednesday a year ago. And I just went back and watched that very first video.
Brutal.
Funny.
Brutal.
Well, it's so crazy. I mean, number one, how much we've grown and changed on our talks. And number two, I was only doing it because it was like everything felt like it was stripped from us in a matter of a day, and somehow we wanted to keep people connected and we didn't know how to do it. So that's how the very first Coffee Talk was birthed. It was 25 minutes. I remember being nervous, and I even said, I have Coach Chuck here just in case I run out of things to talk about. We were talking about how my teenage daughter was at home, and all of a sudden I'm forcing her to get up at 7:30 because she doesn't have school. She doesn't have anything to get up for. You guys were all talking about how having the kids at home, how they were basically eating you out of house and home. They wanted to be entertained.
Yeah.
And we were all, even in that first week, going crazy. And Chuck said in the video, he was like, it doesn't sound like the kids might end up going back to school this year. And lo and behold, they didn't. I mean, we didn't really know.
It's prophetic.
Yeah, but nice job, Chuck. But they didn't. I think now, for the most part, I think about 80 to 90% of the kids are back at school. But so crazy to go back a year and look at where we were to look at how far we've come today. How crazy.
Oh, man. So, I don't really know where we're going to go with this talk today, but there's a couple things that hit me super hard. Number one, just seeing our images in this camera, how different, like how more confident we are, how more clear we are in our message, that we love getting on here. The fact that she is on episode 253 is crazy. But so, number one, developing consistency. We made a commitment to you and to ourselves. I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? That commitment to yourself and to you guys, to make sure that we would show up every single day in a capacity, Monday through Friday, on this page to share a message, to keep you moving, to keep her moving, to share... to share positivity. So, one huge takeaway was, consistency and commitment to showing up, because when life throws you a massive wrench, right, like massive brick across the forehead, nobody could have predicted this, not a single soul.
No.
But whether it is you lose somebody in your family, or something happens financially, or the rug literally through I don't even know how you can say it, on the grandest of level, pulled underneath your feet, out from underneath your feet, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to play the victim card and just suffer, or are you willing to step up and do something?
Yeah, and I'm going to say that when this first happened, in those first 2 weeks, I think there was probably a little victim mentality between.
Yeah.
I mean, we were angry, we were upset. I remember
Absolutely.
being like, how the hell can people go to Walmart but not come to the gym? Like, I remember being sad. I remember being angry. And somebody said to me, it's like going through the stages of grief. And they were so right. They were so right.
Yep.
But as we've said now numerous times, I don't know where you guys are, but I totally believe that this was something where God stepped into our lives because I needed change. I cried to Chuck because I needed change. I was ready to do something more with my life. I wasn't feeling passionate. I did not, and I didn't like being the boss. I didn't like it.
Right.
I don't know if any of you guys are in that position yourself. I don't love having to lead employees. I love being a leader in a different aspect where I'm sharing the things I've gone through. I love that, and I wanted more of that, and I prayed for that, and I got what I prayed for.
Yeah, and so we had conversations prior to this all happening about what 2020, 2021. We had a 2-year game plan that we were putting in practice as early as October of 2019, and then in February, there were stages. In February of 2020, we were already putting together the next 2 years game plan of what that was going to look like inside the facility. And from my position, building this business from the ground up, especially from like 2012 and 2013 and how everybody came into the picture, I mean, I gave birth to that entire process and idea, and then it blossomed with the help of so many amazing coaches and teammates and members. So, it all blossomed underneath their hands as well. But for me, like when it came to the defining moment when there was a lot of back and forth, right? Between March, April, May, June, and eventually
probably on a daily basis.
Oh yeah. It was like being filled with joy and getting your heart ripped out all in the same day. I mean, you're literally like, you go on camera, you shoot these videos for you guys, these videos, the workout videos, you're texting, you're messaging, and then something happens and 10 people decide to quit and you get your heart ripped out, and then, we're negotiating with the landlord to decide if we're going to go back, and that goes, sideways, and then the CDC guidelines. I mean, it was just like you didn't know what you're walking into. And eventually we closed the facility in July or whatever, but this is my next big share for you guys was, for me personally, and I know for Roxanne it was too, but just because I know that, I'm a step parent to 3 amazing, beautiful kids, right? But I love that role and I love them, but they're not, my children per se, right? Roxanne came into this relationship kind of the same way. She didn't give birth to Better Body Fitness. She became a part of that culture. But for me, it was like, man, having to let go, and I shot a video on this a few weeks ago, letting go, full submission to the divine power, letting go, closing the chapter, and Roxanne even said closing the book on Better Body Fitness, the facility, and birthing something new. You have to let go of this to be able to reach a new height. And it took me like forever to let go. If it was a strong death grip, I was like, I'm not gonna go this.
and why? Then, because it was everything
it was my identity.
Had known. Yes.
And then it became kind of like this. And then Roxanne's like, hey, you're still holding on with 2 fingernails. I'm like, I know, I can't let go. And then it was just like,
and and the reason I'm like, we gotta let go is because you really can't ever move on to write a new book when you're still living in the old book.
It's impossible.
This isn't even a new chapter in our lives.
No,
it is a new book. It's a new story. We had to end that story. Every good story has a good ending.
Right.
It had an amazing ending. This is just the sequel. And this is even, as some sequels aren't, this is even bigger and better than the first story. It is. There was 2 pivotal moments I remember. 2 moments. The first one was the Monday night where we had to shoot the video to let everybody know we weren't opening up the next day. Yep. Talk about, we were all ready. We're good. We're like, okay, this is going to be... We could barely talk. We were bubbling fools.
And it was basically just like, hey, we have to shut the gym down for 2 weeks. We'll be back.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. And then the next moment I remember was when things weren't going great, and all of a sudden everything was lifted, and they were like, go back to normal. And we're like, how the heck can we do this? This isn't even feasible for us. Like, half of our members aren't coming back because they don't feel safe. And that was when we were like, this is it. We got to call it. We got to call it one way or the other. And that was the next pivotal moment when we let the employees know we were not going back. We let everybody in the membership base. And that was one heck of an emotional roller coaster for the weeks to follow that. And like tears, many tears.
Yeah, lots of tears. Lots of amazing moments though.
Yeah.
We had people in our lives, members and people show up and send us flowers and gifts, and it was crazy time. It was amazing. So many messages, heartfelt messages, mail and stuff. But there's a motivational video out there, and I think it's from like Rocky 5 or whatever. And Rocky Balboa is talking to his son because his son is not showing up. Well, he's kind of showing up like a punk and a quitter. And he says, life will beat you to your knees if you let it. He says, life will beat you to your knees if you let it. And he says something along the lines, that's a direct quote. And then he says, he's like, you take your hits and you keep on moving forward. You take your hits and you keep on moving forward. And man, and he says something else after that. But I mean, if that just isn't how I truly felt, and I did felt like I was taken to my knees. But on the flip side of that, what I want to share is like, man, like it wasn't an absence of fear. There were some crazy days I have no idea what was going to happen, how we were going to get past this. And I'm sharing this because maybe you feel that same way in your health and fitness journey, right? Like you're so sick and tired of being stuck, but yet you have this incredible fear of what's going to happen. Will you fail? Or if you actually gain success, can you sustain it? Because you haven't found a way to sustain it. We had the same fears, and now after just going all in, learning how to swim, it's jumping off the cliff and birthing your wings on the way down. Like there's just something about not the absence of fear, having fear and moving forward anyways is such a critical point. And a circle back is I had to let go of the identity and the story that situation, that facility, those people, the employees, and all of that was who I was, because it wasn't. Because we have now blossomed into something that we couldn't even predict ourselves, but it was all through faith, right? And not the absence of fear, but having faith through that fear to step into what looked like a chaotic dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, and it was. It was for a while. I mean, I remember saying probably almost every day, what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, there was a couple months there where we were like, okay, like we either have to figure something out, we have to figure out how to bring more people in, we have to figure out how to be the best leaders we can possibly be, or what's the worst thing that can happen? We're going to go get jobs. I mean, that we were, if we would not have pivoted and changed our mindset and realized our identity wasn't in the physical location, we would both be out there working jobs right now. But instead, we totally pivoted, and like Chuck said, we had faith, and now here we are today.
All right, I'm going to leave you with this today. I don't even know how long this video is, but if you've made it this far, then you can spend another minute or two with us. Like, man, this just came through right now. Just right now, this just came through my mind was like, and this just sounds so cliche. Success in life. No matter what it is that you're reaching for right now. I don't care if it's, relationships or money or a job or your whatever it is, right? So cliche. Life will never, ever, like an epic life, will never be found in your comfort zone. Ever. Imagine that. Like the things that you see other people doing and you say, why not me? I want that. I want what he has and she has. And not to idolize him, because they're showing you that that's possible, right?
Success leaves clues.
They're actually proving a point that it can be done. And you somehow believe it's not possible. But that's because you're stuck in your cozy comfort zone. I sound like a youper. Cozy comfort zone. But I was stuck in this comfort zone of just going to the same place, doing the same thing every single day. I loved it. I love every person that's there. I love every person that we've worked with, every person that is still a part of our community. Like if you've been a part of our lives, we love you. Yeah. Absolutely.
And anybody who's come into our life since.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you the joy we have in our hearts working with each one of you, spending time on these talks with each one of you. It is because of you that we are here. And I hope that you can say that for us as well.
If you look back at that March 20th, or whatever video, 18th, 17th video.
It's on the Roxanne Marbs fan page.
We look so uncomfortable. We look so uncomfortable, like, you know, I'm just telling you, like, reach.
Yep,
Don't
never give up.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're gonna have to do something, but I'm not yelling at you. We are your biggest cheerleaders. Anything is possible. Get on a Saturday workout. Start showing up to coffee talks. Start showing up to Noon Nuggets, whether you're live or on demand. Do a couple Saturdays. Do a fitness challenge when we produce it. Do part of a Saturday. Inquire about the 21-day challenge. Anything you can do to move yourself forward. You're gonna have to get outside your comfort zone if you want a different life. That we're gonna teach you small, successful steps to doing it successfully well over time. And we had a lot to learn. Oh my, if you look back at those videos.
Still learning.
Oh my, we were doing it on concrete and we were hanging stuff in the background and we had snow blowers in the background and the workouts that we started to do were so different. Like, yes, we're still learning, but every day we get on camera, every day we're outside of our comfort zone. This is not like our normal thing.
Yep.
But we want to push you to grab a hold of something new and beautiful this year. I can't wait to come back to this video in 12 months from now and see where you are, to see where Better Body Fitness is, to say where we are, to be a whole year ahead and just having all kinds of amazing things happening in our lives.
All right, my friends, we're going to call it there. Please join me tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Is there going to be a Noon Nugget today?
What? What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
Oh yeah, there's a Noon Nugget. I might even be wearing my glass. You know what today's Noon Nugget's about? Gratitude, baby.
Oh,
it's all about gratitude.
All right, my friends, we love you all so much. You know what? If there is something that in one way, shape, or form we have helped who you've become today, I would love to know that, honestly, because without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And I want to know if we've repaid that back to you.
If there's something you could post in the comments, a testimony or just anything how, yes, this has inspired you on any level, we would love to know and just share that testimony with the world. Guys, we are so blessed to have you in our lives.
I've had to keep the tears in. All right, love you all, and I'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Happy hump day! Where's me pot of gold? Where's me pot of gold? I'm gonna eat ya!